Hi guys, we are here to do a pick a card reading for how do you stand out, or just like what makes you unique, like what makes people notice different things about you. Because honestly, we all have those days where maybe we don't feel very special or very unique, and sometimes it's really nice to just get a reminder that, we all are different and we all are unique. So, how do you guys come off? How do you stand out? We have pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. Timestamps will be listed down below in the description box, as well as the decks that are being used. If you guys need a second longer to decide, go right ahead and pause the video. All right, pile number 1. If you selected this lighter with the bird, or this deck, this is going to be your guys' reading. How does my pile number 1 stand out? What makes pile number 1 so unique? Okay, pile number 1. What makes you guys stand out? What makes you guys unique? I feel like one of the things that makes you guys stand out is something about it it's kind of weird. It's almost like your past, but also it's like you put an end to your past, so it's really hard to explain. It's like your past makes you stand out. You have a very unique past that not very many people have, which I think also makes you stand out, because I think you have like a unique family or something about your roots, where you came from. It was like bizarre or different. You're a type of person that always strives and gets out of your comfort zone over time. So even though it's a habit for people to stay in their comfort zones, you know that you're not going to thrive in your comfort zone. So you guys always try to push forward, even when it's really hard for you to do that. And that's one of the things that makes people notice you, because they see that you're not in the same place as you were like last year. You know how some people, they go through life and they just kind of are constantly doing the same thing, and then when you talk to them a year later, they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing the same old same old." You're not that type of person. You always try to have like different goals, or you set different goals to reach that. So you're always trying to evolve. Another thing that stands out is the oh my goodness, you guys, I'm losing my voice. Another way you guys stand out is how you dress. It's like your physical appearance. I'm getting the sense that for a lot of you guys, you have something unique about you physically, whether you have like a unique nose, or like there's something about your face specifically that I think is kind of unique. Not very many people have, or you have either like a birthmark or something that is very defined that people see. I also get that some people notice that there's kind of like two sides to you. There is this side of you that can be very logical and can plan things out, or like at least you get like, for instance, because we also have Virgo here. I'm picking up kind of like a Virgo energy here with that the King of Swords. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, you have this part of you that kind of plans things, takes care of things. You're trying to organize your life, or there's always something about you that kind of comes off kind of structured. And I find it interesting that we have Virgo and Capricorn. So like a lot of earth. You guys might be earth signs, or at least you exhibit a lot of earth, or even Cancer. Because even at the bottom of the deck, we have Cancer. But there's definitely this part of you that feels like you are very wise, very structured, but very logical. And then there's a part of you that is maybe a little impulsive at times, or is kind of like you can be kind of quick sometimes to make decisions. But I feel like that's always like how you come off physically. Maybe you change up your behavior a little bit at times. Like maybe you decide to dress a little more bold one day, and the next day you tone it down. Like you don't really have a fixed set of what you do, but there is this artistic structure about you where you're still very logical, and you still do a lot of like, you make sure that you plan out your time or your day, or there's something about you that seems very structured. And then there's a part of you that seems like, again, like that illogical part where you're very creative, you can think outside the box. So it's like you kind of go back and forth between these two mindsets. And I think that's another reason why you are in a way succeeding in life, even if it doesn't really feel like it. Like you still find a way to work yourself through life. You don't stay stuck on the same topic or the same issue for too long. You always find a creative way, or you find a structured way to get out of a situation. So you're really good at problem solving. You're really good at changing your behavior to adapt. But at the same time, there's still this part of you that is, even though you're very adaptable, there's still a part of you that is very like methodical too. You're very consistent. And I feel like you're consistent on certain things of your life. Like you're very consistent like with family and yourself, like your own self-growth, your own knowledge. Like you're very persistent about certain things. And this is one of the things that people find very unique and makes you kind of stand out. I also feel like sometimes people, I almost said standoffish, so I almost feel like some people may find you as standoffish or just kind of hard to get to know at times as well. But there's this part of you guys that you're always striving for the best, and there seems to be like, because with that North Node, it's like you push yourself forward and you always strive to go after what it is you want. I feel like you're the type of person that seeks for clarity, and before you make a decision or before you do something, you think things through. You don't just jump in head first and just make the choice and the decision like some people do. You take time, you look at the pros and the cons, you think things through logically, and then you think about how it can impact all areas of your life. Like you try to think things through before just making decisions. And I feel like especially when it comes to investing in yourself, you are very careful about what how you are perceived by others. You have your own image that you have crafted and created for yourself. And that's another thing that people really like about you, because I think you take actually good care of yourself. You're like a type of person who gets up and they make sure that they have deodorant on, they brush their teeth. Like you just seem like the type of person that keeps up on your maintenance of like your hygiene, your health. There's something about you guys where I think you guys take pride in how you dress or how you do your makeup or your hair. Like you always have like a nice little routine going for you all the time when it comes to that. And it's like that's something that some people might even be envious of or jealous of because some people just do not have the motivation to be consistent with their looks or with certain things. Like some of you guys, maybe you go and work out all the time and people admire that about you because again, it's like there's something about this pile where you guys are always consistent with whatever is important to you. And I also think that you guys kind of have a unique home or how you decorate or how your house or your apartment or wherever your living space is. I feel like when people come over, they are kind of surprised by how well you keep up with your space and also just how well it's like designed or how you like even if there's not very much space, like you're very good at utilizing space or you're really good at decorating. There's something about your home as well that makes people kind of like, wow. And I kind of get the feeling too that when people come into your house, they feel welcomed, they feel loved, they feel like almost like they can be comfortable in your home because when sometimes you go to people's houses you feel that uncomfortability, like you're not really welcomed there or they don't really offer you food or snacks or anything, so you're kind of just sitting there like I don't know what to do. It gets kind of awkward, but with you guys I feel like you aren't really like that. Like you always have kind of like a nice environment, and I think that's where you take most of your pride in. Pile number one is I think yourself and your environment, like the way like your house is run, your family. I think you're very family oriented. You put a lot of your time and effort into your family and yourself. So I feel like you invest in both the people you care about and yourself. And that kind of makes you really attractive to people because they see that your priorities um, are dedicated to yourself and your loved ones, and that you're very generous with your loved ones. And I also think that you work very hard to provide for your loved ones, or if you're not, say, for instance, like working, you provide the structure for your household. Like you make sure that everything is taken care of. Like you're always pretty like you do your best every day to keep up with everything. And sometimes you feel like you fall short on certain days, like, oh, I just didn't get this or that done. But like you still do more than most people. And so when they see you, they are inspired by how well you handle everyday circumstances and like things that you might get frustrated with. You find ways to, again, fix the problem or solve the problem. You don't just sit there and wallow in it for too long. Like, you're not the type of person that just sits there and complains all the time and never gets anything done. Like, you actually take the time out to work through these issues and you try to do everything you can to move past certain things that is bugging you, or if something breaks down you just get it fixed. Like you handle everyday like monotonous things that a lot of people just keep procrastinating or putting off. And so you're living a pretty decent life, or at least again, that's how it appears to people. So one of the things that makes you stand out is just the way that you kind of live your life. I feel like you have it structured in a way that really just works for you, and it really inspires people because a lot of people, they feel like maybe they don't have as firm of a foundation, or that they just feel like they're not to where you're at, especially because I feel like for a lot of you guys are like good companions. You're like a good spouse. If you are married, or even if you're not, like people perceive you kind of in that marriage material category. They see that you would be a very supporting, loving spouse. There's something about you guys that just seems like you're very, like you can hold your own. Like financially, emotionally, like you seem like the type of person that you kind of have like a grasp of your own self. It's like, because when you date certain people and they don't really know themselves, or they are very emotional because they don't know how to control their own emotions, so they always need other people to regulate them. You're not really like that. I think you work through your issues. And I think you kind of regulate your own emotions. So you're kind of that type of person that if you were ever to get into a relationship, it's because you want to, and not because you feel like you have to or you need to in order to feel stable. So, that's another thing that a lot of people respect about you, is that they know that if they had you as a partner, it would be because you liked them, or because you enjoy their company more than I have to have somebody to feel like I'm complete. So that's something that makes you stand out. So a lot of people kind of wonder what it would be like to date you, because you kind of give off those traits. You also seem like the type of person who focuses on your work, and you take pride in your work too. I think you put a lot of effort into your work, especially with the Virgo card and the Capricorn card. I feel like you focus on the details and you work towards making the product really nice, or whatever you do, and then you execute it like the boss, right? Like the Capricorn. So I feel like you guys are actually very goal oriented and very good at business. And if you feel like you're not, it's like people see those traits in you. Even if you're not aware of those traits, others can see it. So that is another thing. So I pulled 3 cards. These are just kind of like closing messages, just to kind of see like what makes you guys a little bit more unique. So we have companionship. When you fully When you fully bliss and embrace your loneliness, you're ready for the one who are meant to be with you. May I welcome this solitude, knowing this will open the way for all healthy relationships. Yeah, and it's interesting. That's what I was saying. Like, it feels like you don't need somebody, but you know that you want someone. And it's also just, again, you would make a great companion, I feel like. Compassion. As you pray each day for greater compassion, a new self is born, drawing new people and experiences. Dear Lord, help me feel ever deepening self-acceptance. May I see myself as you see me. Exactly. So it's like people see you as very compassionate, very loving, very kind. And I think that for a lot of you guys, it has kind of made you more tough. Because you had such soft traits about you, I think people might have taken advantage of your kindness. And over time, you've learned to kind of build up more of a persona to not be meddled with. And that's really kind of what I got with that whole Capricorn and the Virgo feeling. But I feel like you guys are still very compassionate and very loving and kind. Like, you didn't let the world jade you. Then we also have here self-love. Show me how to love myself. Show me how to take care of the inner child. Show me how to be kind within. When you step into self-forgiveness, so much can change on the outside. Yeah, and I just feel like, you guys, I just kind of get the feeling with this pile that you guys have been working on self-love. You have been working on your inner child. And especially because I feel like, with your roots and self, I do feel like you've been working and healing through past childhood traumas, and that is also making you more attractive, making you stand out more, and it's bringing a lot of people towards you that want to date you or want to be around you. So I feel like you guys need to be kind of more open to the possibilities of meeting new people or making new friends. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, it's like you guys have been working towards your own destiny, working towards what's uncomfortable, and you've been working through a lot of these obstacles. And I feel like because of that, things are starting to blossom for you, things are starting to happen. So that's to me, that is extremely, that's amazing. Because I get that feeling, generally speaking, that you guys have gone through a lot and you had to heal through a lot. And I feel like you guys are still in the process of releasing certain issues. And I feel like, again, the more you guys work on yourself, it's like you're going to find that person that's going to work for you. We also have here clarity. Let me trust my deepest instincts in all ways, especially when matters are unclear. May my own holy intuition always guide the way. And that's kind of what I was getting here too. Like with you guys, honestly, I feel like this is a type of pile that you keep working on yourself and healing yourself till you gain that clarity. Like you keep striving for the clarity. You strive to release issues, you work through your issues, but you always try to find solutions. And that is something that, again, really makes you guys stand out, is just the way that you overcome obstacles and the way that you view obstacles too. It's like you guys just don't let things stand in your way for too long. Like even when you're frustrated on something, even if you give yourself a break, you always come back to it. You always find a way to work around it, or it resolves itself. Either way, it's like you always find a way, pile number one, to overcome anything that you feel like is keeping you stuck. And I think that you released a lot of trauma from your childhood and you've been evolving and growing within yourself, which is making you more attractive and is bringing more possibilities, more opportunities to you. So this is a really awesome reading. I actually hope that this helps you guys. But yeah, you stand out because you think straight. You let go of things that doesn't serve you. You're always pushing yourself to get out of your comfort zone, to move forward. I mean, what's there not to notice about you guys? Like you guys really do stand out. And there's always like this silence about you. Like some people don't know what you're always up to and what you're always doing. And that's kind of what I'm getting with that Capricorn vibe, is like you guys just do the work and you just put your head down and you just keep doing and going. But like your results speak for yourself, you know? And I think that that is something that is really amazing, is because you fly high. You guys are like that bird. You trust in your wings, not the branch. And you know that whatever foundation you've been building, that's what's ultimately going to keep you guys afloat. That's what's going to keep you going. So it's like you work really hard on yourself and your family and loved ones. And you always are very persistent in the things that you do. So that's what makes you guys so unique, special, why you stand out. I hope that this resonates for you, pile number one. Thank you guys so much for joining. Have a great and wonderful day. Thank you. Bye. All right, those of you guys that chose pile number two, or this rose lighter, or this deck, this is going to be your guys' reading. So what makes you guys stand out? What makes you guys so unique to other people? All right, pile number two. You guys got a lot of cards, but I felt drawn to still take all of them anyway, because you guys seem to be one of these types of people that are known for a lot of different things. So pile number two, I feel like this is the pile that just never gives up. You guys are, one of the reasons you guys stand out so much is because you have an idea or you want to start something. And as you start making your way to starting something new, it's almost as though things happen. It feels like the rug gets ripped from under you, or something, like you get set back with a lot of different setbacks. And it feels almost like the world is against you at times, right? So people notice this about you guys. And even though it feels like the odds are stacked against you, I feel like even at a young age, the odds have been stacked against you. Like there are things in your life that you went through in your childhood that people are still like in dismay, they're in disbelief about. They're like, no, there's no way that you went through that, or that happened to you. Like that feels like something from a movie. Like you are that pile. So I feel like for a lot of you guys, even though when things felt off or when things felt like it was not in your control, and people also thought like, oh, they'll never get over this, I don't know how pile number 2 is going to be able to do all of this, it's like you always find a way to keep the faith, to keep the belief, to keep this knowing that you're going to be okay. And because of that, somehow you always get out of the situation, or you always somehow manifest what you need or what you want. Like you're the type of person that it's like you'll go down to rough terrain and then you'll come out fine. You'll come out alive. You'll come out great. And people are like, how? How did that even happen? So you're the type of people that inspires other people, because you're always like, even though like sometimes you might have a negative mindset at times with certain things, you always still find a way to come back up on top. Like you always find a way to manifest. Another thing that makes you guys stand out a lot is the way that you connect with people. We have the 8th house here, and that's with like Scorpio's domain. So it's a really intense house, the house of like taboos and, just the subconscious, like just really deep things. And I feel like for you guys, one of the things that makes you stand out is that you're really good at holding on to secrets. Like you're the type of person that it's very rare for you to accidentally tell someone else's secret. Like people just feel like they can tell you things too. So when people first, like you might notice this, I don't know if you do or not, pile number 2, but you're the type of people that when you first meet somebody and you're just talking and you're having a good time, all of a sudden they'll just start telling you their trauma, or they'll start telling you things about themselves, like a secret about themselves or something weird. And then afterwards you're like, okay, like I don't know why you told me that, but it's because of that. It's like something about your 8th house. There's something about you guys. And I think also with the whole Gemini and Aquarius, there's like that air quality about you guys that it's almost as though people don't feel really judged by you. So it's like you kind of come off like you're not a very judgy person. Like with Gemini here and Aquarius, it's like you guys are so good at thinking outside the box, but also I think you guys are more open-minded than the average person. And so that is something that makes you guys stand out, because you're quick to wanting to understand somebody than judge them or shut down the conversation. Instead, you're the type of person that would maybe want to open up and ask more questions, get to know the situation more, because you're very curious about people and places, and you just kind of give off that curious vibe, especially when you also have Jupiter here. And at the bottom of this deck here too, we also have the Wheel of Fortune, which is ruled by Jupiter. So I feel like people think of you kind of as a lucky person. Like you're the type of person that like maybe you have stories about how you almost died, right? And it's like you don't even know how you got out of certain situations. Like you just appear to be very lucky. But I think it's just because you guys are the type of people that in a way you almost surrender to your issues, like to what's going on. Like maybe you used to be the type of person that would fight tooth and nail, because it's like you're afraid of the change, so you would fight to not change or to not have certain issues. And now it's almost as though you're surrendering to it. So it's like things are kind of slowly manifesting and becoming easier for you guys. Another thing that makes you stand out is the way that you present yourself, the way that you come off to other people. There's something about you, and I feel like for some of you guys, I don't know why I'm getting this, but like some people really like your legs. Like there's something about your legs or how tall you are. There's something about your height that either you're really tall or you're really short or something like that. But like people notice certain attributes that you have. And a lot of people are drawn to that and they really like that. So I feel like this pile, you guys have um, a lot of people like your body. They like the way you look. They like the shape of your body. And a lot of people think that, it's almost as though you guys, you put effort into your body, but I feel like you kind of have that Aquarius kind of vibe to it too. Like, like that Uranus, like you're very unique and your styling is very unique and you just really, I feel like you really work towards, it's like you just stand out because of how you dress. And I feel like you're the type of person that like maybe is very colorful. You have a big range of colors, and that's interesting too because of the rose with the multiple colors. It kind of just gives off that vibe that you guys you have a very colorful wardrobe, or again, there is something about your personality that's very colorful. People do not expect you to be the way that you are. Especially when people first initially meet you, they might have one way of viewing you, and then when they get to know you, they see that you have different sides to you, and it can really surprise people because perhaps they have an image of you. And that's another thing too here with the 11th house. I think this is kind of what it's bringing into is you might be the type of person who could be, I wouldn't say necessarily a social butterfly, but I would definitely say that you guys do have a tendency of getting around, like your name gets around, because I do feel like you are friends with a lot of people, or you just know a lot of people, or there's just something about you that makes people around you gravitate towards you. And I feel like a lot of people know you and they're like, wow, this person is very unique, different. And then they hear about other people like, oh, I have a friend, you should meet my friend. So like you're that type of person, pile number two. What makes you stand out is the way that you kind of beat, like you go to the rhythm of your own drum. You don't like just follow the crowd, and because of that it makes you stand out. So in social settings you're like that one person that's really unique to get to know and talk to, and so you come up in a lot of people's conversations. I feel like I think you're just you're like a topic for some people. And another thing too is I think that this pile, you guys have a lot of hobbies or a lot of passions. There's something that you guys do that you enjoy. I also get that you guys can be very playful, and you're just that, I just feel like you guys are a little bit more like the extroverted pile. You don't even have to be an extrovert, but I just feel like you're very well known. And I do get the sense that for a lot of you guys, maybe you go to like a game night or you go to some kind of event that you enjoy. There's something that you go to, whether that's going and working out or going and doing something, but there's some place that you always frequent, and I feel like people associate you with that place as well. And I think that for a lot of you guys, you're just that type of person that people, when they see you out in public, like say they see you in the grocery store, you're like the type of person that they see you again, they remember like seeing you. You're like, oh, I remember that I saw this person last week. Like they may not know your name, but you have a very, like people have a harder time forgetting you when they see you, even if they don't know you, even if it's like a stranger. And there's something about you with that North Node. You walk in your purpose. So the energy that you kind of embody is that you walk with purpose. You, I feel like, are the type of person that it's almost like it kind of gives me this feeling of like sometimes people may want to put you on a pedestal at times. I don't know if you notice that or not when people start acting weird around you, but it's almost because people feel this type of fulfillment around you. They feel that there's something that you're doing right now, pile number two. There is something that you are currently working on or currently doing at this time. And I feel like it's bringing you a lot of fulfillment. It's making you kind of happy, and it's kind of teaching you to kind of put yourself a little bit more. And I think that because of that, you're kind of radiating out this part of you that feels kind of happy or that just feels content. Like there's something that you're doing that you are enjoying. And because of that, people can just feel that. And people like to gravitate towards you because they just kind of feel good in your presence, because your energy just kind of gives off this, like, almost like this reassurance, like you have all the answers or that you know what you're doing in life. And so people feel like if they stay around you, it's almost like you have people that want to copycat you, that want to watch you, that want to mimic you, that want to be around you. And I feel like you've just had a lot of weird instances with people like that. And I think it's because you guys kind of just give off this unique, fresh way of viewing things and wearing things and doing things. And it just kind of makes people like kind of want to copy you. I feel like you guys are the trendsetters in a way. You're the type of people that, you know, you wear clothing or you wear there's something you do with your body that is kind of different than the average person. And I feel like it's different because there's something about it that, I don't know if you make your own clothes. I don't know, guys, but there's something you do with your makeup, and I feel like a little bit with your clothing, that it kind of leaves people turning their heads. It's like you show a little bit of skin, but you don't go overboard, but you don't, it's like you almost show the right amount of skin, but at the same time, your clothes are kind of just unique. And it's almost as though you find a way that it kind of fits your body. So you wear clothes that kind of fit your body type to like almost accentuate it. And if you're like a guy, there's just something about you that I don't know if you just like keep yourself a little bit more groomed than the average guy, but there's just something about you as well that like really stands out to people, because I feel like strangers will remember you when they go out. If they see you the second time, they will be like, oh my gosh, it's that person. They're not going to know your name, but they'll remember you, or they'll think about you, or you know what I mean? Like, I feel like you have a lot of people that regret not coming up and talking to you or conversing with you, because you just feel like very opened in a way, that you just feel like a very open person. Like, I think that you meet a lot of people because a lot of people just feel like they can just start conversations with you, and you just seem to be the type of person that would reciprocate a conversation. So I feel like one of the things that just makes you guys really stand out is just the way that you are more open to intimacy than the average person. And you just kind of radiate your own sense of passion. You radiate your own energy. It's like I think you're the type of people that you take time to enjoy certain things in life. And I feel like you also kind of just give off this luxurious vibe to you. And I think that also kind of can intimidate people at times, because they view you as somebody that is abundant or somebody that's got money or is rich in some way, because it's like the way you carry yourselves, pile number 2. It's like you carry yourself with dignity and pride, and you're the type of person that maybe would look in people's eyes and smile, and it's like you don't really come off very shy. Even if you are shy, it's like people don't really view you in that way. They see you as somebody that is very talkative, very outgoing, very, I wouldn't even necessarily say charismatic, but the way that you talk and the way that you communicate is very unique. So you really stand out in a lot of ways. I'm also kind of getting to that you might even have like the way, like, I don't know if you have like an accent or your voice, but there's something about your voice that also kind of stands out. And it may not even match the way you look, so people might be surprised when they like hear your voice, because you know they wouldn't peg that voice to match your exterior. So there's something about you guys that kind of definitely stands out. So we're gonna pull these cards here. I don't know what any of these are, so let's see what they are for you guys. We have self-acceptance. Nothing is more exhausting than endlessly working on yourself. When you offer your whole being fully to love, self-acceptance arises spontaneously. May I rest in our oneness, dear divine. Yeah, so you guys just kind of come off as a little bit more self-accepting, and I get that that's probably another reason why you guys are pretty open-minded to getting to know people and asking questions instead of just shutting down conversations like some people. Like some people just get very defensive a lot, and I feel like with this pile, you guys are a little bit like you're less reactive and you're more responsive, you know? And I think that it's because you have a better grasp of your own self acceptance than the average person. So I feel like this pile, like, you work hard to accept yourself, but especially with that, you know, uh, the first house and the fifth house, I feel like you guys really work towards bridging that. But I'm just getting that for a lot of you guys, you're just that type of pile that you are in the process of learning to love yourself more and to try to be more optimistic. And here we got positivity. And see, I felt like you were more optimistic because of that Sagittarius quality, that Jupiter quality. It's like you guys really try to see the glass half full, you know? We have positivity. If you can find even one thing to be grateful for, it will restore you to the light. Please, dear God, let me always feel gratitude for something, even a tiny thing in even the hardest situations. And yeah, I feel like for you guys too, like you came from a rough background, or you came from something where it's like you didn't have very much, but you were still grateful for what you had. And I think that's another reason why the universe tries to continue to bless you guys. And especially when it comes to relationships, I think you guys try to still keep that open mind and that try to still stay positive, even when you've been through hard times with a lot of different people. We have impatience. My life is unfolding in divine timing. All delays are beneficial. I am always at the right place at the right time. Yeah, and I feel like that is something too for some of you guys. Maybe you feel like, oh, my life isn't going the way I want it to. And people might notice that about you a little bit, that maybe you can be a little impulsive or that you can try to move things along quicker. But I feel like you guys have had a lot of weird experiences where you've been late or something bad has happened to you and then it made you run into a certain person, or you found the help that you needed. Like, it's like even though you always get these weird delays in your life, it always seems to work itself out. And I think that's another reason why sometimes people think that you are just lucky or that you have things going for you, because it's like things just somehow fall into place for you. And I think it's because even when you get that impatience and even when you get frustrated, there's still a part of you that does have some form of faith. Like, I feel like this pile has trust, try to form trust in God or in the universe or in themselves. And it's like you guys work on building that trust in that area. And I feel like that is really what's kind of leading you to really experiencing different opportunities in life that you probably wouldn't have had if you didn't keep that open mind. We have here compassion. As you pray each day for greater compassion, a new self is born, drawing new people and experiences. Dear Lord, help me feel every deep self-acceptance. May I see myself as you see me. Yeah, and I feel like for a lot of you guys, it's like you really have a lot of compassion for yourself, or at least, again, that's what you're working towards. So people really feel that, and that's another reason I think why people may open up to you on a more intimate level than, you know what I mean, than most people do, because I think they can sense that compassion in you, and I think they can also really sense that you are a very unique person. And again, there is this sense of not feeling really judged by being around you. So at the bottom of the deck there, we also have body. And I feel like it's interesting because I did bring up how a lot of people are very drawn to your body. And I think a lot of people want to get intimate with you in that way because you just are, there's also like a, kind of like the sex appeal that you have, but it's almost like this, kind of like this edgy, loving, compassionate, but yet like crazy kind of feeling that you give people when they think about you in that way. So we have body. Show me, divine, how to love and fully care for this body. Please give me the radiant miracle of accepting my body as it is. And I think that's what that self-acceptance really comes into play, and the compassion, is because I feel like for some of you guys, maybe you really hated your body and you've had body image issues, and it's like you've been working through that, or you guys are in that process of working through that, and that's another reason why you're standing out, is because people are noticing that you're feeling a little bit more comfortable in your body than perhaps you once were. And so that's another thing that makes you stand out and makes you very appealing to people as well, because everybody wants to be with somebody that's very confident and comfortable in their own skin. And I feel like that is something that you guys are starting to exhibit more and show more. And I think that a lot of people are very drawn to that. So that's what I have for my pile number 2 on why you guys stand out and what makes you so unique. So I hope that this resonated for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys have a great and wonderful day, pile number 2. Thank you. Bye. All right, if you guys chose pile number 3, this tiger lighter, this one is so cool. I really love this one. Or this deck, this is your guys' reading. What makes my pile number 3 stand out or so attractive, or just what makes you guys unique? Okay, pile number 3. What makes you guys stand out? Well, the first thing I see is it's kind of interesting that is the tiger's lighter, because my first initial thought of you guys is that you're not afraid of confrontation. Or again, there's a part of you that's a little bit like you're not afraid to defend yourself or other people, especially if you see something that is done wrong. Like a little bit of that Libra energy for sure here, because I feel like you're the type of person that if something were to happen or you see some kind of act, like for instance, I was eating with my friend, like a group of friends at this restaurant, and there was this woman who was just really picking on this one child. And I was like getting frustrated watching this woman just being mean to this kid for no reason. And so I like loudly said to my friend, like, this woman's kind of being a biatch, and this kid is a good kid. I don't understand, because it was my way of really trying to put that woman in her place, and also letting that kid know that that kid deserved better and that the kid did literally nothing wrong. And I feel like that's the type of people you are, is you're not afraid to voice your opinion. You're not afraid to let people know how you're feeling or what you think. And it's like you're very kind of like opinionated. I feel like you're very opinionated, pile number 3. And I think that that is another thing that makes people really interested in you, because I think you guys have new inventive ideas. You are the type of people that you see things and think about things in a way that is so efficient, or just like, for instance, if you go to work, you're the type of person that would see how they do an old structure, like, oh, we have to do it this way. But you find ways that would like cut the time in half, or make it way less complicated, or rearrange things to where it makes more sense, where there's more space. Like, you guys think outside the box. So I feel like for that is another thing that makes you guys really stand out and makes you kind of unique, because you're very quick to seeing the problems with things, and how they could be better solved. It's a little bit like pile number 1, but with you guys, it's a way that is kind of just like, I don't really know how to describe it besides just very unique. And it's like things that a lot of people will just miss, or even because there's a million ways to solve a problem. There really is. But you guys take it like a weird roundabout way that people never think about, and then they're like left kind of surprised because it's like, I never thought about it in that way. So you guys really do exude this uniqueness when it comes to how you think and how you process things, which I think might have left you guys feeling kind of alone a lot or misunderstood a lot. So I think for a lot of you guys, it's like learning to kind of come out of that, learning to like allow yourself to not isolate so much, or again, even when you're around people, sometimes you just maybe feel like an alien, or you just kind of feel like nobody understands you. And it's because you have such a unique way of really looking at things and really observing things. And I feel like you guys are very, like, you have a set of morals, or you have a set of standards that you live by. And so I feel like you're the type of people that you don't just, like, it's almost as though you enjoy the structures, or you enjoy certain things. So like, you're very aware of like either the law, or you're very aware of, like, I don't know, just different things that a lot of people might not know about. Like, you're just very smart in a lot of ways, and you're always seeking for knowledge with that ninth house. I feel like you guys have like some kind of Sagittarius, and as I look too, we have Jupiter at the bottom of the deck. So you guys are very, there's definitely a like Sagittarius vibe to you guys. You're always seeking answers. You're always wanting to know things. And I think that in a way you're very humble about it. Like, you don't boast about that. And so people really do see you as a type of person who thinks in a very unique way, who like, you even maybe do things in a different way than most people. And I think that might also throw people off because they don't know what to expect from you. But also, I just get this feeling that you guys are very detail oriented. You pay attention to little things that eventually turn into big things. So I feel like this pile kind of understands the compound effect. Like, you have to start small to start getting bigger. Like, you're almost aware that even the tiniest seed can grow the mightiest tree. So I feel like you guys are very smart with future investments. Like, you are very good at thinking about long-term strategies. And I think that's another thing that makes you guys really stand out, because I feel like with that Capricorn vibe you have is kind of like you guys have a tendency of sticking with certain things and you follow it, but you're very realistic about it, because Capricorns, they are like the CEOs of the zodiac, but it's because they are really good at strategizing long term. They think things through, they act, and then if of course they're cardinal signs, so they are not necessarily opposed to changing certain beliefs or changing certain things in order for things to kind of flow properly. But with you guys, I feel like what I'm really getting here is that if something comes up, you're very good at maneuvering around it or working around the problem. You're also just really realistic about it. So when stuff does happen, you know whether or not to let something go or to continue with it. So you are very good at paying attention to certain things that, like, matter to you. And I also just kind of keep getting this feeling that you guys have a tendency of like maybe even obsessing over certain topics, because you guys are so air oriented. I just really get that. Like, even though you guys are very grounded with the earth because you have Virgo and Capricorn, but even with that Libra, it's like Libra and Gemini, I'm picking up all these different, we have Uranus, which is like Aquarian energy. I just get that you guys are always thinking a lot. So you guys are always in your head a lot. But I feel like you guys pick a subject and then you guys have that tendency of fixating on that subject or really wanting to get to know things. So it's like if you guys got into esoteric stuff, you would have a tendency of like going down the rabbit hole, right? Like you get very fixated on certain subjects, or you guys are like, the subjects that you are into is kind of like the eighth house related, just very taboo, or things that are kind of like society maybe shuns. Like you guys just have this unique way of viewing society and a unique way of viewing intimacy with others. And I feel like when people do kind of stumble across you, they don't really know quite what to think of you at first because you kind of come off very grounded, but yet very up in the clouds. So people may even see you kind of as a daydreamer. And that's kind of gives people this, it's like when they see you, you really do make people question themselves and you really do make people wonder about their decisions and what they're doing with their lives. So you kind of inspire people to even change maybe some of their habits or some of their routines and just kind of everything that's happening in that area. So I feel like you guys are just really, you know how to just kind of come off. You know how to it's like you bring people into your world because of how unique you view things. And like I just get this feeling and this vibe that people get like epiphanies when they're around you, or people, they want to kind of copy you or mimic you in some way because they really like the way that you guys come off, and they really like the way that they kind of like perceive you. I get that you guys are the type of people that when you when people kind of meet you, they do kind of notice that you have like there's something about your energy that does kind of give off that you guys have been hurt before. And so that kind of makes you stand out because you kind of have this kind of unique energy where you like to get to know people. You like to kind of get to see different cultures or different backgrounds. Like you like to learn things that are foreign to you, things that you're not really familiar with. But at the same time, there is this hesitancy, maybe perhaps to get intimate with others because, baby, I just feel like for some of you guys, you have experienced some kind of trauma there where you have a hard time really connecting deeply with others, or you want to, but there seems to be some kind of resistance there. So people can feel that about you, and it makes a lot of people want to be that special person too, that like can try and break down your walls in that way. So some people take it as a challenge to really get to know you because there is a part of you guys, I think, that kind of holds people at an energetic like distance. And so when people first initially meet you, they can kind of sense that you do kind of like have this weird separation where it's like I'm me and I know you're you. So it's like you kind of hold your own opinion and you kind of hold your own self, energetically speaking, and it makes people really like that. They feel really drawn to that. They don't, and they may not even know how to explain it, but there's something about you that kind of comes off like, oh, this person, like I can have a good conversation with them, but I don't think that they would consider me as a friend. I don't think they consider me as a partner because you kind of give off a little bit of that colder external stern kind of energy. And I think that's kind of because you've been hurt a lot. And I think people can get that general sense. They can kind of sense that the reason you're acting in that cold, distant way is because you're protecting yourself. And, some people may only take it at face value and be like, oh, this person's just cold. But I feel like a lot of people can still sense that there's a reason why you have that there, and it's almost like your way of protecting yourself. So people do pick that up from you guys, as well as that it's like you are the type of person that maybe like you're well cultured, or you want to travel, or there's something about just seeing new places or going and doing new things. And I feel like you enjoy that. So people really see you as a very flexible or a very, that you really like to discover new food or try new things. But then again, there's still this part of you that's a little reserved, a little held back. You don't really necessarily tell people a whole lot about yourself. Maybe you'll talk about fun topics or you'll talk about things that you enjoy, but there really isn't a whole lot of you telling people a lot about your life or what you're doing. Because I get that sense that for some of you guys, you kind of do leave a little bit of mystery to you. You do kind of leave a little bit of this weird, quirky, unique side to you that people pick up on, but it's like they feel like they have to dig deeper to get to kind of know that side of you, because I feel like you're not necessarily like a full-on open book. You don't just tell people everything about your business, and I feel like that makes this person kind of intrigued, and it makes this person kind of want to get to know you more, and I feel like it makes this person really like you in a lot of ways. Like people, when they see you, that's one of the ways you stand out, is because you just seem to have that. I feel like you also have a tendency of, like, the way that you make your guys' decisions, almost kind of feels like it's like you guys make decisions in a more of a quicker, firmer manner. Like you're a little bit faster making a decision, and I think that that's something that people notice about you, is that you seem to be the type of person that, like, even though you do think about what you're gonna do, I feel like you guys still just choose to do it anyway, instead of just sit there on the fence and just like, should I not? Like you might wrestle with an idea for a second, but then you're like, yeah, but you normally have an answer within that 5 to 10 minutes or within the day. You know, you're that type of person. You try not to be indecisive too much. And I think that is something that you guys are working on, because I feel like with this pile, perhaps you were a little bit indecisive in the past. And so that is something that is kind of making you guys like, okay, I don't want to be indecisive anymore. I need to kind of question, what am I doing here and why am I doing this? And I think that is something that I think that's why you guys are really starting to kind of break out of your shell a little bit more as well. And I think people notice that about you, and that's something that makes you kind of stand out, because you're the type of person that's like, oh, I like this, I don't like this, instead of being like, well, I don't know what I like, I don't know what I want. So you kind of give off that air of, oh, I know what I'm doing, or I know what I want, instead of constantly questioning yourself and asking everybody else, what do you think? What do you want? Instead, it's like it's like you have a firmer grasp of yourself and your own wants and needs, and that kind of makes people a little bit more drawn to you. That's very attractive that you have that, because I do get the sense that you are, like I said, just a little bit more decisive now, and because you're more decisive, that makes you stand out more, and that makes you more attractive than when you were in the past, when you weren't as decisive, like when you were more like indecisive about a situation. So let's pull the last cards here. I do not know what they are, but I'm kind of curious to see what your last messages are. So let's see, we have courage. Divine courage is not the absence of fear, but a nudge that says, keep going, do it, don't worry, all will be well. You have to get quiet enough to hear it. Dear Divine, may I feel your courage and your will. Yeah, and I feel like you guys are like that. You know, that's what I was saying by, like, you guys have like unique ideas, and you kind of perhaps go against the grain from a lot of society standpoint, or just a lot of people notice that you're a little bit more unique in that regard. And I feel like that takes a lot of courage, because a lot of people, you know, you kind of stand out. And I think that people do notice that about you and admire that about you. We have enjoyment. Striving and pushing makes life into endless hard work. The more you're inviting love to take over, the more enjoyment comes. Allow me to enjoy this life, dear Lord. And I feel like that's another thing too, is it's like, Maybe you guys used to sweat the small stuff. I feel like you guys maybe used to be like really bad overthinkers. And I think that a lot of you guys, you're learning to kind of move past that. And so you're learning to kind of enjoy yourself a little more. And you're just really learning to kind of give yourself the permission to enjoy life more. And I think that that's another reason why you're standing out, is because you guys are learning to develop that more, learning to actually enjoy your food more or enjoy going out and doing stuff more than perhaps in the past you used to be more in your head and you would go out and do things really fast. Now I think you guys take more of your time, and people notice that, and that makes people think, wow, this person really is like, you kind of just stand out because you're not in such a rush anymore like you used to, and you kind of have learned to enjoy the process and not just the end goal. We also have gratitude. Find just one thing that you feel grateful for right now and let the gratitude pour through your body. It's a healing balm like the warmth of the sun. Yeah, and I just feel like you guys especially are grateful when you get to meet people that are interesting and unique. I feel like you are very grateful for a lot of the things people do for you, because I do get the sense that you guys are a little combative at times because you've been hurt and you've been taken advantage of so many times, that when you meet people that do reciprocate back to you that same energy of love and respect, or just giving, the ebb and flow of giving and receiving, you feel like it lights up your world. You're very grateful for that. It's like you are grateful for little things, and I think people notice that around you, and especially people that are closest to you, pile number 3, they see that you do have this softer side to you, and they do see that you have this very generous but very loving and giving and happy, like you have this side of you that is very grateful, and that you do take time out of your day to be grateful for things. And you might even have your own gratitude journal. You might even be grateful, like you might even have affirmations you say of what you're grateful for. I think you're the type of people that you work on trying to be more positive. We also have here spaciousness. What do I no longer need? Help me, God, to release whatever people, places, or things draining my vital essence. Show me what will fill me with enthusiasm and joy. And yeah, and I feel like this pile, you guys may have suffered with like lethargic, like just feeling tired all the time, feeling sluggish. And I think that it's because you've had people, places, and things just draining your energy. And I feel that for a lot of you guys, this is the pile that has slowly learned to set boundaries. And I think that's why I said that people can feel that distance between you and them. It's like that spaciousness. I think it's because you guys have worked towards deciding what is draining you and what's not. And I think that for a lot of you guys, you're slowly building back up your energy again to where you're going to have more energy to go out and do things. Because I think that this pile might have had a little bit of depression or some kind of anxiety. Like there's definitely something here that I feel like you might have had some kind of like a mental disorder or some kind of, and I wouldn't even really call it a mental disorder, but it's just like you've had something that maybe perhaps bugged you or that you couldn't get over. And it's like now you're finally receiving the help, or now you're finally, it's like it's healing and working through itself. And I think that that's something else too, is it's like, the more that you let go of things, it's like you do find yourself finding more enthusiasm in life, or you just get happy for no reason. It's like you're learning to kind of build up that mindset. Instead of tearing yourself down, you're starting to learn to build yourself up, and that makes you very attractive. And I think it's starting to show people externally more now, because the more you start taking better care of yourself and the more you love yourself and starting to accept your unique quirkiness, it's like the more attractive you're becoming to everyone else around you, pile number 3. So at the bottom of the deck, we have divine timing. The divine brings things in the timing that we need. Nothing comes before we're prepared, nor leaves too early. May I always trust your period and holy timing, dear Lord. So it's like, I feel like for a lot of you guys, you are learning to trust more in yourself and the divine. I think that sometimes you guys know that you can get a little impatient, but I think it's just because you guys are so focused for the future. This feels like a pile that you guys have worked really hard to try and focus on the positive, and you've worked really hard on trying not to bring yourself down so much. And I feel like because of that, you guys are learning to strive for certain things that you know you deserve, even if you have a hard time doing it, which I think is why you have that courage card. So I feel like you really inspire people to go after their dreams and their goals, but also you inspire people to be unique and not to be so afraid of like the social constructs or just the way society is, because you guys just kind of come off like the rebel pile, like the pile that's just like, yeah, I'm going to do what I want to do. I don't care what people think of me or what they say, because it's like you're on your own path to happiness and you're on the pursuit of happiness. And I feel like because of that, people are inspired by you because they want to find happiness in their own lives. And it's almost like watching you gives them the permission to do the same. So that's really inspiring. And I think that that's another reason why you guys stand out, is because you choose to be unique. You choose to stand out, even though sometimes you feel ostracized or you just feel alone a lot. It's like you are strong enough to withstand that, and you choose to still be who you are. And that is very inspiring to everyone else around you, even though I feel like not very many people tell you that. Pile number 3. So that's what I have for you guys. I hope that this resonated for you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great and wonderful day, pile number 3. Thanks. Bye.